Thank you for coming out to the 2015 Michigan Tennis Conference. On behalf of the PTMers, I'd like to thank the presenters that we've had thus far for volunteering their time and effort this weekend, traveling from afar, or not very afar, to come to Big Rapids. Wonderful place, so thank you guys. Our final speaker for on court is Ken Dehart, and he has a very extensive tennis resume, as you'll find out. He was the first master professional from both the PTR and the USPTA in the world, the entire world. He's a two-time international PTR Pro of the Year, as well as a four-time USPTA Divisional Pro of the Year for the Southwest and the Northern California.
Right.
Yes. He was also a former executive director for the PTR. A couple other side ones. He was on the Wilson Premier Advisory. He's a member of that kind of advisory board. He's a USA high performance coach. He's had 8 DVDs. Subject matter includes mental toughness, corrective techniques, and there's a few others. You can find those on the internet if you are interested.
We've donated a complete set to the university.
Whatever you want.
He's also an avid writer. He's written for 5 tennis publications, including Tennis Magazine, Tennis View, and a few others. So his passion for the sport is very clear. He even came in early on Thursday. He did a drill, fun drill night for all the PTMers. We're very grateful for that. He was hitting in yesterday, which I had a chance to hit with you as well. Maybe next time. And he's here today. So it's my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for 2015, Mr. Ken Dehart.
Thank you. Thanks. It's very exciting to be here. I want to thank Wilson for sending me here to get a chance to talk to you guys. The first thing you want to do is create activity. Put your rackets down, put your papers down, and come on out. We mentioned a while ago that each of the speakers have given you little tidbits of things that are extremely important for your personal, professional, and your tennis career. What I'd like to do is get a partner, and you're going to go back to back. So first of all, I want you to face each other. Get a partner. Notice things about the person you're going to face. So get a partner.
Not that one, but the other one.
We got wired up.
Okay.
Yep, go ahead and press it. It should be green. Sorry about that.
Got it. We're on. All right, great. There we go. All right, so you get a partner, face them, and you can do like this. Okay, ready? So notice everything about them you can, because you're going to turn around and each person's going to change one thing on their person. They're going to change something about their clothes, their hair, their glasses, their shoes, whatever like that. All right, turn around. Okay. Now, change something about your appearance. All right, now turn back around again and see if you can find out what they changed.
You tucked your shirt in.
I tucked my shirt in, okay.
You were!
You got me. We haven't moved their name tag. All right. All right, do one more time. Turn around again. Change something different this time. All right, turn back around again. What's different?
Your racket position.
Very good. All right, it's upside down. Very good. And you pulled your sleeves up. All right. Okay, everybody, have a seat real quick. So first impressions make a big difference. There's statistics out about how many cues you unintentionally read about a person in the first 7 seconds. So it's very important that you are dressed the way you want to be recognized. I think who mentioned about being dressed professionally? I think we talked about that already. Being confident about your appearance, making eye contact. Recognizing something about it. A while ago I was talking to Peter. Peter was up there and I said, I noticed on his shirt it said Solomon. So right away I have a cue about him already. I bet he skis. And I said, so Solomon, is that a ski company? Yeah, he said it is. So right away I could talk to him about something. I knew nothing about him before till I saw that. So if you pay attention, you say, oh, you're from Wilson. Or do you play with tennis? Do you play tennis like that again? Or I see you got Wilson shoes on. Or you're all Wilson. You sponsored by Wilson? So notice things about somebody. And then the best way to carry on a conversation, by nature I'm quite shy. I grew up way out in the country, 13 miles from town, and you pretty much just did stuff with each other and my brother, and that was about it. And so later on, I always wondered how people had things to talk about. So my wife is an actress, and she's never met somebody she didn't know. She would be in a grocery store and start talking to them about anything. So I could, gosh, by nature, I just sit back and watch. And I said, okay, but these people always seem to be the center of attention and having fun. What do they do? And typically they just ask a question. One of the great people of our century was Walt Whitman. And and then who was the other one? Who was the other great guy, the crazy guy that from the Midwest? Can't think of his name right now. But anyhow, he was going to be interviewed by one of the toughest people in New York about what he does. And so he had this interview with this lady, and she wrote up this just amazing comment about how impressive this person was, how smart they were. And they asked him, what did you talk to her about? He said, I just asked her a couple of questions, and she carried the conversation. So people like to talk about themselves. So when you're not sure what to do, ask somebody a question. They'll immediately start a conversation about something that they're interested in. And all you have to do is every so often kind of confirm, so you really like skiing, huh? Yeah, how long have you been skiing? And they'll carry it on again. So you want to be someone who's impressive to other people. Ask them about themselves. And you'll find out a lot about them, more than you will by them telling you about me. So I get a chance to do that briefly. Like I said, I never played tennis till I was a freshman in college. Never seen anybody play tennis till I was a freshman in college. I was a basketball player growing up in Indiana, and I had a slight height disadvantage for the kind of level of basketball I wanted to play. So one day I run by the tennis courts in Campbellsville, Kentucky, which is about 10,000 people, and the college was about 1,200 people, about 1,500 students, I think. So I went to Kmart and bought a racket, my first Wilson racket, and a can of Wilson balls, and became a tennis player. I started playing tennis every day, and it was a small school. We're NAIA division school. But I asked the coach one year if my sophomore year, actually I went to summer school so I could play tennis. And then my sophomore year, I asked the coach, can I go out for the team? And she said, yeah, you can pick up balls and hit with the guys. I said, okay, great, I'm there. And so I showed up every day to pick up balls and hit. And then she said, I can get you an assistantship if you'll pick up the trash and clean up the courts. I said, I'm in for that. So I got a little bit of money doing it too. And then gradually I triple majored in college. I had business, physical education, and history. So she found out I had a business major, so I became the secretary for the PE department. And then they let me start teaching tennis to the classes because I knew a little bit about tennis just from hanging around. But a lot of it came just from the fact that, from athletics, from being a basketball player and baseball player and studying the game a little bit and having a lot of friends who would hit with me or play with me. So in the process of that, I've been a tennis professional. I'm 67 now, and I was 20 at the time. So for a long time, I've been a tennis professional. My first job ever was the director of tennis. So after I got my master's degree in college in education, I went back and taught high school tennis, taught high school business. I taught a program called Distributive Education, which is a business vocational program. And then the students were out of school at noon, the seniors weren't on the job, and I'd go help check on them and make sure they learned about marketing, advertising, and sales and stuff like that. And I coached the high school team and the college team. I was at a tournament in Murray, Kentucky, famous for a guy named Mel Purcell, which you probably don't know, but he was on the tour. And I played the tournament there, and I lost to Mel and his brother, Del Purcell. They were top players in Kentucky. The bad news is Mel was only 12, and his brother was only 14, and they kicked our butt. They were pretty good. But I sit and watched this guy play, and I said, after his match, I watched him play, I said, that was amazing. I really like how you play the game. His name was Stay Bucci, and he's from Nashville, Tennessee. I never met him before, I just watched him play. And I had some relatives in Nashville. I took the biggest chance, because like I said, I'm pretty shy by nature. And I had the biggest chance of my life. I spoke as fast as I could. He had no way to understand what I said. I said, I'll work for you for free. I'll work for you this summer. He said, what? I said, I'll work for you for free if I can work for you this summer. He said, well, actually, I am looking for somebody, but I'll pay you. So we stayed in touch, and about January, he calls me. He says, my brother's coming back. He's going to take the job at Bellmead Country Club as my assistant pro, but I'll help you get an interview, which he didn't have to do. But he helped me get an interview, and my first job ever, I got the job. I moved to Nashville, Tennessee, and my first job ever was director of tennis, and I had no idea what I was doing. So I go to Thay's house every night and say, what did you teach today? And how'd you do that? That's what I go teach the next day. I come back, what did you teach today, Thay? This, and what'd you do? And what about this? Okay, I go teach that the next day. So he became my mentor, and he still is one of my favorite people in the whole world. But I say that only to tell you there are unlimited possibilities of what you're going to do with your career. You have no idea where you're going to go and what you can possibly be. But what I've always tried to do was whatever I couldn't do, I began to do. So when I was teaching, I realized I didn't know anything about technique. So I started offering free classes on technique because I had to study it to speak it out. Then I started offering classes on drills because I had no idea how to do drills. And so then I started doing classes on mental toughness. Well, my first cue was to ask the sports psychology guy there at the club, could you hypnotize me so I could play well? And he said, it doesn't work like that. So he said, you have to earn it. So I started offering classes on mental toughness training or defeating the monsters in your mind. So the important thing is really to challenge yourself in what you don't know and try to take it on. Because you're going to find other people in that area that will help you succeed once they see you have an interest in doing it like that as well. Later on, I got my first job. It's a little eight-core facility. And then the next job that came open was the Jewish Country Club in Nashville. And everybody in town applied for the job. And I got it. I mean, I've only been teaching 2 years because I had a business plan. And I presented a business plan to the tennis committee on what I was going to do with the Woodmont Country Club. And the tennis committee chairman was a businessman. So I got the job pretty much because I had a business plan. And I was there for 4 years. They sold the club, moved it out in the country, and I got to design the courts, the clubs, the pro shop, and everything. I got to do all that. And I had no experience in doing it, but you just go do it, and you find out people to help you. And that's why we talked about with John and Dave and Dan and all these guys talking about there are people who will help you mentor in anything. As you start teaching, any student who shows you an interest, you're going to give them more than they ever expected to get from you. Because when you see someone who has an interest, you help them because you understand that's what it's nice when someone shows an interest, you'll give them a lot. And so as you guys show interest and talk to me or Dan or Steve or Dave or any of the guys like that again, they'll give you more information than you ever expected to get. So that's the challenge when you go through. So I became the first executive director for the PTR because I realized I didn't have the business skills I wanted. And I talked to Dennis Vandermeer a few times about things, and he said, we're looking for an executive director. Why don't you come down and interview? Well, on the way down, I read a book called In Search of Excellence on the plane. And when I got down to be interviewed by Pat and Dennis, it was all the information I read in the book applied to what they were wanting in an executive director. Now, did I have those skills? No. But I was initiated to it and started out like that again, so I was accepted as the first executive director. I was there for about 3 years, and then Dan took over, and Dan's done an incredible job with the PTR. I could never have done what he's done with what he's done. His vision of how to do it is so much different than what I would have done, and I really admire all he's accomplished with it. It's just made the PTR the most amazing thing like that. And I got certified through the USPTA and the PTR in about 1976. I've been a member of both of them since about 76. But the fact that I have access to both sides of information is a huge valuable asset to me my whole career. When I did lose a job, because in Phoenix they closed the club, the owner and his wife got a divorce. It was a 31-court facility and they closed it down. So I went to the Boca Raton USPTA conference and I met a guy there named Doug Cash. I said, Doug, just lost my job, looking for a place. He said, well, we're looking for a pro. And because I'd been to every conference and I've been to every one, the only one I've ever missed was the one in Chicago and the one in Hawaii. But I've made every PTR conference since the beginning of time. And but anyhow, because they knew who I was and I'd always showed up, Doug said, we're looking for a pro in Atlanta, Georgia. And I got the job in Atlanta, Georgia. So, you just never know what your options are going to be, but stay in touch with people, make contact with people. In today's world, email them, Facebook. I Facebook a while ago, as soon as somebody's presenting, like Dave presented today, I did a picture, put up on Facebook and saying, Dave presenting on paradigms of the game. I did one for everybody else. So use your Facebook thing as a way to promote. And I don't really promote myself. I just tell people who's here, what the event is, and what's going on. So you're not out there just really self-promoting. You're promoting everybody else about the industry. And indirectly, you get promoted in that situation as well. The topic today is building skills, drills, and thrills into your lessons. And it's in your handout. And we're talking about building a lesson plan. When George Capastain and I did the 50 best tennis tips, there's actually 150 tennis tips in there because under each category, there's 3 others. I've donated a complete set of the DVDs to Ferris State, so you guys have access to all that as well. You will have access to all the information down here below too. This will all be donated if we run off and copied. Defeating the monsters in your mind, 20 best games, 50 best tennis tips, unusual doubles formations, defeating the monsters in your mind, the answers in your hand. From when I wrote for Wilson, they had coaches for life, how to be an effective teacher, 3 secrets to winning doubles. So all this stuff is applicable, and you're welcome to steal anything you want out of there, because I did. I stole it all. And most of the stuff in life is just stolen, and it's rebooted in a way that makes sense to you. So I would take everything you want and use it and pretend in the language that you want to use in some way like that. We look at tennis and not only life, because tennis is a form of life skills. You just get to do it in athletic adventure, and it's really cool. So the first part is a skill. And we mentioned earlier, you pick out any skill you want to start off with. And then you create a drill to rehearse the skill. And then you do the thrill, which is adding competition or scoring to see if the skill holds up in the thrill of competition. So we do skills, drills, and thrills. Now you can do reverse. You can start off with a game. So games-based teaching says, let's just do a game. Then you say, look, here's some drills you can use to improve your game. Now you need some skills to improve your drills to improve the game situation. So you can start off with a game situation. We did a game first today, didn't we? So I was telling him, if I know he's going to talk a little bit, I'd do something to get you guys involved in it quickly. So what did we do the first night I was here? What's the first drill we did? The juggle drill. All right, I need some victims. Come on out. This is on my handout, the 50 best tennis drills. The number one drill is this drill, because the juggle drill involves the 3 skills in sports. Pretty much there's only 3 movements in sports. You either run, catch, or throw. Okay? An underhanded toss is a ground stroke. An overhanded throw is a serve, and a volley is a catch. And then you either move defensively or offensively. So how do you get those skills kind of warmed up for someone who's going to play? So you guys know how to do it? All right. You create parameters. I need one player on the double sideline, one on the single sideline in the alley. How wide is an alley? How many people didn't know it was a 4.5 feet wide alley? Okay, so that's why the first thing you do as a coach, you always start introducing parts of the court. I got a business card a while ago from Matt. It has a tennis court on the back that has the dimensions of the court. And most people do not know how long a tennis court is or how wide an alley is. So you should, from the beginning, always assume they don't know anything and just kind of casually throw it in there. So in this game, the players are going to toss the ball to each other at the same time. They can move. Each time they catch the ball, they change direction. All right, ready, go. Good. Now this involves the three movements in sports, right? You're doing defensive footwork. And how much of the game is lateral movement in tennis? What percentage would you say of the movement in tennis is lateral movement? 70%. 70 to 80% of the movement in tennis is lateral movement. So what you're working on is here. I've never, ever, ever told a person to bend their knees in any sport. You simply widen your stance as a stance, because if they bend their knees, they'll just squat down. And so it's kind of hard to move from there. So you got to realize the words you use create pictures in their mind. Okay, now they're warmed up with it, and they did amazing. The only way they could possibly drop a ball is if they had a disconnecting thought. So whenever you have a skill and the skill isn't working, it's because you have a disconnecting thought. So part of your mental toughness training is understanding how to distract them and how to help them once they have a disconnecting thought or a monster in their mind. So here's the next monster. We did a skill, toss the ball back and forth. We did a drill, add movement to it. Now we're going to do the thrill. They're going to go for 15 seconds and see how many times they catch the ball in 15 seconds. Ready? Go. And stop. How many did you guys get? How many did you guys get? Okay, whatever score you got to beat it by 2 this time. Ready, guys? Go. And stop. Stop. Okay, how many did you get? 23? 17, okay. And you just keep going. 2 more. Can you beat it by 2 again? Now, once again, this is what we call guided discovery. Instead of look, I need you guys to move your feet fast. I need you to stay really low. Don't tell them anything. The game that you created here will make that happen. If they drop the ball, it's because they're worried about beating their last score, or I don't want to be the last one to miss, or the first one to miss. So then if that happens, you can say, now you have a coaching opportunity to talk about disconnecting thoughts. There's no way these players can drop a ball unless something disconnects their eye. Because remember, it's called eye-hand coordination, not hand-eye. The hand does not coordinate the eye coordinates the hand. So even that gets confused a lot in the tennis industry about, okay, we got some good hand-eye coordination out there. I said, my hand doesn't coordinate my eye coordinates the hand. One more time, I'm gonna beat your score by 3 over here and by 2 over here. Ready, go. Good recovery, good recovery. That's important, he recovered. And stop. Do you guys make it? 23, okay. That's okay. Okay, so once again, now here's, as a coaching, I think, how can I motivate my students to want to use this drill? First of all, we record their scores. Because next week, tomorrow day, when they come in, we're going to record the scores again. So guess what they're going to probably do? They're probably going to practice it. But I didn't tell them they had to practice. If they want to beat their scores and they know what's going to happen tomorrow, you watch they'll come out and they're kind of prepared for it as well. So you're creating situations where you're creating learning opportunities and chance for them to practice. This time you're going to bounce the ball to each other, because when you play, you have to track the ball off the ground. So same drill, but now you're going to bounce this time as you go. All right, ready? 15 seconds, go. Okay, stop. All right, now, very good, 15. Okay, then 18, good. Then you'd go beat it by 2 again. Now, what we're gonna do though, there's a whole series of drills. Every drill we're gonna show you can be changed at least 5 ways. So you don't need in my club, we pretty much have 5 drills we use all the time, but we can change each drill by the scoring, the direction, the depth, the spin, and the speed of the drill. So now we're gonna do this one. The single sideline is gonna toss, the double sideline bounces. So now we're doing is working on patterns. All right, ready? Go. And stop. All right, reverse. If you're the tosser, now you're the passer. If you're the passer, ready? Go. So I see how fast they can adapt, because in a match, people are constantly changing tactics into. How fast can you recognize a change in the pattern and adapt to that pattern when you're playing? And then sometimes I'll let it go on for like a half an hour, because it's like fun to do. If they get going like that, you just let them keep going. Those keep going. So you don't have, but the big thing we're trying to do is we're recognizing movement patterns, recognition patterns, which Dave talked about a little bit, recognizing what's happening, how do I respond to it like that again. So of the 50 drills in the handout, this is the most important drill, because it gets you kind of prepared for all the other things you're going to try to do on the court like that again. The other drill we do is with 2 balls each, and it's the same patterns, except we're just going to do, we'll start off without moving. So what I do is typically, it kind of might explain how to start off. Like one guy starts with the balls inside, one on the outside. And just going to stand still and toss. Ready, go. Okay. Notice how they start to use their legs. See how they're using rhythm? That's it. And then you, as a coach, I don't tell them. I identify what it is positively they're doing. That's a great way. Look at they got rhythm. And if you're ever a lounge singer, that's one of your favorite songs. I've got rhythm, I've got music. Okay, they've got rhythm when they play, like that. Good job. Then as they get better, they can actually start to do the same drills. They'll actually toss the ball back and forth. They'll bounce the balls back and forth. They'll have one tossing, one bouncing. These, in the beginning, it's like there are balls everywhere. But do you wait till they already understand how to do it, or do you help them get along the way? You're going to find eventually they fly through these drills incredibly fast. So it's a great way to get warmed up. And then let's do one more real quick, hold 1 ball each. And we're going to do the one where you go just to juggle back and forth for 15 seconds. Ready? 1 ball, 15 seconds, go. Yeah. All right, and stop. Stop. Okay, now, on a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, what was your level of concentration there? 9, 10. Okay, so what we've done now is so what you do, if you're 8, 9, or 10, you're competitive. At 7, 6, and 5, you're social. And below that, you're going to hurt yourself or somebody else when you play. So when you play again, we've just introduced now a measurable way of identifying mental toughness or mental focus. So I had to get them to experience the high. They told me what it was like to be at that level. So when you play, if you're at that level, you're probably going to play the best you can play. So what would make Matt's forehand all of a sudden in the middle of a match not work? Tired, eyes, definitely, or his intensity drops. So you measured, and so when Matt makes an error, my first thing is, Matt, where's your eyes? That's always number one, because your eye coordinates your hand. Number two, on a scale of 1 to 10, Matt, where were you? He said, I was a 6. His skill didn't change. His attention to his skill changed. So you have to have, as a coach, I'm always finding a way to measure the mental toughness part or the mental focus part, as well as just the skill when they go through. All right? So if we were done for the day, what would you take out of today's lesson? This was it, an hour and a half, that's all I had to talk about. What are you going to take away from today so far? Tell me one thing that sticks out in your mind for just what we've done here. Focus, okay. I quit playing basketball. I was never quite as good as I thought I could be because my coach would tell me I had to focus, I had to try harder, I had to want it, had to be patient, and I had no idea what he was talking about. But I know if I got it right, he'd quit yelling at me. But if he had said, look, on a scale of 1 to 10, I need your focus level 8, 9, or 10. I can measure that. Okay, look, I need you to take 2 more steps between shots. I can measure that. He'd just say, move your feet. Like, which direction, coach? What should I do? So some people get it really quick. I'm the kind of person that says, tell me what to do and I can do it. Tell me what it is you actually want. So actually I worked for Dennis Vandermeer when I was executive director. And Dennis, I'd walk by his office and he'd say, good job, Kenny, good job. He always called me Kenny. So one day I went in and I sat down and I said, so Dennis, every day you tell me good job. What is it I do really good? Do you like the way I dress? Do you like the way I comb my hair? You know, what is it you like? Because I'll do it if you tell me what it is that you like. He said, I like the fact that you're on time. I said, great. But if you just say, good job, way to go, it's just like generic cheerleading. So how many times do you tell a student, great shot? What was great about it? So what you say instead is, awesome finish to the swing. I liked your intensity on the shot. And everybody, all 4 players think you're talking to them. So as a coach, even when I'm doing the fast feed drills, I start off and I say, Matt, I like how even in the drills, I'm saying, Matt, finish your follow through a little bit more on the shot. Okay, Raleigh, I need more steps between shots. You have to give a name with the comment. And then you have to shut up. I'm not paid by the number of words I teach. So if I give instruction to the whole group and I'm making some general comments, then I have to be quiet. They have to have time to figure out and absorb what we talked about. But as a coach, no, man, I've got to create the energy and I've got to keep them going and all the things. Yes, but then shut up. Let them have time to absorb all the things you've told them before you add something else to their menu of things to do. So what else are you going to pick out from this morning so far? Anybody, what sticks out in your mind?
Be specific of where you want them.
Be specific, all right. There's the East Coast and there's the Pacific Coast. We need you to be specific on what you're going to do, okay? You need to be specific. So, for example, I seldom refer to down the line and cross court because there's four boxes on the court. It's a rectangle, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So if I put 2 players out to rally, I'd say, okay, square 2 to square 2. Because I've defined the direction and the depth at the same time. If I said hit the ball cross court, no, keep it deeper. How much deeper? So I end up having to talk more than I have to talk, and they don't really get that purpose because I didn't explain it, what they're going to do. All my clinics I teach are drop-in drills. I don't have anybody sign up for a class. They just show up. And I like having an unknown number of people to show up. I like having, it can be 3.0 to 5.0 skill level. And I know that if I do a great job, they'll come back. If I don't, they don't come back. So all my class, like Saturday morning, I've got a class going on. It's actually going on right now in San Jose from 10 to 11:30. It's been going on for 40 years since I first started teaching. I have 22 players on 3 courts with 1 coach, and it's 3.0 to 5.0 skill level. Okay? And it costs them $25 a person. So 25 times that, it tells you I'm making more than a 1 hour lesson. The PTR has been always about group instruction to make more money and to get people engaged in the game more so they have practice partners. So here's how we'll set up the drill. I'd say square two to square two rally, underspin versus topspin, 8 to 10 steps between shots, 4 to 6 steps between shots, go. So what I can measure now is the number of steps they're taking, the type of spin they're hitting, number of balls they're hitting, and the depth they're hitting. So now when I go out there to talk to them, we're talking about things that we can both measure. So the first time we spoke, we demonstrated how to build a drill from the beginning base to having multiple players on the court. So I've got these players out there. You have to know, for example, when to change the players so they don't get too bored with skill levels because you have a variety of them. So everybody, you guys grab your rackets real quick. Here's what we'd like you to do. Some of these things you've kind of seen before, not all of you saw them, but I wanted to use it at the first time because each time you visit something, you come back with a different level of recognition. And part of our job is to realize that you don't have to have something new every time. The second time you go see a movie, you pick up things you didn't see the first time. So you're going to put a dot or a mini cone in the middle of square one. Now, square one is, how many knows, how far is it from the service line to the net? 21 feet, okay. People should know that. So you're going to put the middle of square one, which is 21 feet from the service line to net. In the ad court, how many feet is it from the net to the service line? Amazing, it's the same side over there too, isn't it? All right, good, that's good. Want to make sure. All right, our goal on this one. I know I want to be able to control the direction of the ball, the speed of the ball, and the repetition they're going to get. So how do I make that work? So first of all, this is called the no topspin zone when you're warming up. This is underspin only up here. Because when you watch players warm up here, they hit these little fakey topspin shots that don't really relate to what they're going to do, and they kind of move around and then they back up because it's real boring. But up at this part of the court, what kind of shots you could probably hit? A spin volley, a drop shot, a slice approach shot. So if you don't warm the shot up, when are you going to use it in the match? You'd be afraid to use it. Also because you want to be able to control the ball because you want repetition of skill. So you're going to go underspin to underspin. Okay, you're going to count as you hit the ball. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. If you hit the little landmine and blow them up, you win the game. So you're trying to hit their target to win the game. But everybody counts. You got to count with the hit. Ready? Go. Now my job as a coach again, is not to be feeding balls. My job is to move around and talk to the players. Why do I have them count? Why is counting important? Focus level, rhythm. They can hear 1, 2, 3. So when I get nervous in a match, I was playing the PTR Nationals and I'm down love 4 in the first set. I'm thinking, I can't hit the ball. I should have practiced. How am I losing to this guy? So I said, okay, I'm going to count every ball. My goal is to count to 10 before I freak out. And I beat the guy 6-4 because it gave me a purpose in my shot so I didn't get distracted. So counting also, we like music, don't we? Well, counting is a sense of rhythm. So the rhythm really helps you a lot. All right, now this is pretty good, but this is not what I'm really looking for high level performance or even beginner level performance. Time out. Good job. What's another way I could change this drill? They could go cross court, couldn't they? Okay, down the line, they go like that, or we could say first one to a certain number. But what I'm really looking for is how do you create movement? Because motion creates emotion. And the more I stand still, the less emotional I'm involved. If I can create movement, I can get it to go faster. So here's what we're going to do on this one. Move your cone back halfway between the service line and the baseline. How far is it from the service line to the baseline? 18 feet. So if it's 18 feet back there and 21 feet here, how far is it from the net to the baseline? And if that's double that, it's how far on the tennis court. So tennis court is 78 feet long. But once again, just introducing those numbers to your students just so they have some idea of what they're playing on. They should know the dimensions of the court they're going to play on. All right, move yours behind Matt, and you're going to bring yours back up, Raleigh. You're going to move yours over where Raleigh's was. So right behind him. All right, so now you guys are going to play as a team. Now we've got a cooperative drill going here, but it's still competitive. You're trying to blow them up by hitting the little landmine. You have to circle the cone after you make your shot. So you have to make your shot, circle the cone, and come back. All right, ready, guys? Everybody counts. Everybody counts. All 4 players, go.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 9.
All right, now listen. They're telling you who's seeing the ball and who's not seeing the ball. They're telling you by the count. If their count is off beat with the hit, they're not seeing the ball. So who's not seeing the ball well or who's not focused real well? And I knew she was going to miss because she's hitting the ball, then she's counting, which means she's holding her breath as she's hitting. Those are little things that you don't have to tell them that, but things that you should be able to pick out. She's not breathing as she's hitting, which means she's holding her breath, which means she's going to get tighter, and she's out of rhythm. So those are little things you can pick up as a coach again, or even as, these are important cues for you as a player. That's why when you hear the players exhale, they're exhaling on the hit. Now some of them do crazy stuff like that afterwards and stuff, but pretty much recognizing those things will help you as a coaching situation. Right? So then you can turn into different types of games. Now, this one we're going to go to, so we've selected a skill, which was, my skill was the underspin shot. Then we created a drill to work on that skill. Then we added the scoring, which was the thrill. So here's another skill we're going to work at and take how you might take it. So what we're doing is taking of games now. How can we make this if I wanted multiple people? And I need some more victims. Come on out. The more the merrier in this, because once again, like I said, I'm used to handling 22 people on 3 courts. So you can't mess me up with numbers. Don't be shy. Come on. Good. And I like odd numbers because you have multiple choices with odd numbers. Even numbers like, okay, it's even, it's easy to do. It's more of a challenge when there's an odd number. So here's how we're going to do. Move your cones in the alley. Remember how Dan mentioned earlier about there's ways to create spacing that's really good. By creating an alley, you create a target area as well. So we do the same game, but we're going to create different spacing. So let's see how many players I have. Matilda, would you put one in the middle of your court, please? That's a runaway, okay? So I've got 2. Now, these guys are pretty experienced, so they just right away, before me, I even tell them, they already kind of knew where to go on the shot like this. So what if I don't have enough cones? What do you do? Well, I have enough cones. What if I don't want to use cones? That's why on your teaching card, you have all the toys. The more toys you have, the better. Because the toys help to make it fun. So it's not just a big blue court. It actually has dimensions and depth and directions and fun ways to score. So this time, after you hit the shot, you have to come back and touch the dot. Because this is yellow, it reminds you of sunshine. And today's such a sunshiny day here in Michigan. You're going to get energized by going back to the yellow dot. So you get energy by going back to the yellow dot. So if you put one back there, and I'll give you one more cone for up here. So this one, you can use any kind of cone, any type of dome. Use the alley over there, and put the yellow one back in the alley. Perfect. All right, everybody grab a ball real quickly. How many of you, I can't tell how many advanced drills we do with orange balls and red balls. If I get a ball over there, just in case somebody should happen to miss, and none of you guys will ever miss them. Boise State does a lot of their practices with orange balls. They were 24 in the nation this year because of the length of the points and the strategy things they can do. So I would definitely do these drills with orange ball, green ball, yellow ball, red ball for all different levels. And see at what level they break down, which kind of shows me. I can start them off with red ball, then I got an orange ball, I got a green ball, then see if yellow ball breaks it down too far. Take them back to where they can actually do it, and gradually they'll get to the next level. All right, ready? So now you got a single player, which is perfect. So what are you going to have to do? You're going to have to hustle. You're going to have to hustle. All right, ready, guys? Go. Everybody counts, right? This is like choir practice. You better hustle. You better hustle. All right, go back there and touch the yellow. Get some sunshine. Got it. As you're counting, show me you can. I need to hear it. Come on, guys, count. Good job. Good. Got it. So I'll move your sunshine a little closer. Okay. All right, stop. Pretty good. Now here's the things I tried to notice. What kind of grips do they use? Was it a continental grip? I really don't use the continental grip on underspin shots unless the ball's low. If the ball's higher, you have a flatter grip. So when you ask the top players in the world, like a Roy Emerson or Martin Navratilova and those guys, what kind of grip do you use in your volley? How high is the ball? And on an approach shot, it's the same way. If the ball's up higher, you don't use the continental grip. You want to get under the ball. You want to be behind the ball, so you have a flatter grip. So there is no one correct grip. It depends on the height of the ball, what you're trying to do with the shot or the position you're in. So they were all correct. I think Federer's been documented with 9 different forehand grips because it's a tactical situation. So the more grips you have, the more weapons you have. We call it weapons of mass confusion. George Bush tried that and it didn't work for him. But in this case, weapons of mass confusion. You can confuse your opponent because you have different weapons. You have different options. So don't limit your options right away by only having one grip when you play. So I might have them all try to do Eastern forehand grips only in this situation. Everybody knows how to find an Eastern grip? Palm on the string, slide it down, knuckles on the side, and that's an Eastern grip. So let's go underspin, forehand only, Eastern grip. Ready? Go. I'm also looking to see if they understand. Now this is a pretty advanced group, so when the player hits, like when Raleigh hits, how does he move? Is a beginner going to move like that? No, he's going to turn his back and run back. So you have to teach them how to move like an athlete or like a player by how they move for the shot. Okay, stop. Pretty good. So what I'm looking at, here's what you typically see in most groups. And one of the rules you have to have as a coach, nobody ever turns their back on a drill. When you hit the shot, here's what they do. Okay, made that one. Ready to go again. No, you can't see anything. I want you to move like an athlete. When you're younger, you skip, run, jump, and hop. When you become an adult, you kind of like just walk. And that's how life kind of is, like that is. But you try to get them to move as they're kids. So when they hit again, they're coming back, they have to skip, hop in, move in. You're teaching them to feel athletic with their movement because you're going to move back there, but it's dead time. It's not, it's practice time. All right, this time, deuce court goes cross court to deuce court alley. Ad court goes cross court to ad court alley, and you guys going up the center. Okay? And this time it's going to be continental grip, backhand only, underspin. So once again, I've changed, it's the same drill. I've just changed the grip, the direction, the depth. I kept the spin the same, and the speed of the drill is already under control. Ready, guys? Go. And what does the coach do? I usually just hang out here and drink water, right? And yell some directions. Hey, get over there. Move faster. Come on, guys, go. Yeah, that's why I make the big bucks. Your job is to be moving around. It's individual attention in a group situation. You will flunk the USPTA test, the PTR test, if you just stand at the net and yell directions. You have to move around. Come on, you got it. Hey, how's the eyes? How's the eyes? Move like you're an athlete. I love it. Great job. What is the one thing you want to coach in an athlete? Eyes. If the eyes move 20 millimeters, you miss hit. So the better you can control your eyes when you're hitting, like Federer. Federer does it better than anybody else in the world as far as, does he keep his eyes still or does he keep his head still? Well, if his eyes are still, his head's going to be still. If his eye moves, his head's going to move. So what he does, when he hits the ball, he actually takes one step after the hit before his eye moves. So once again, you have a measurable situation there to help your players understand, because most of us want to hit and look at the same time. All right, stop. All right, now, you remember how we talked about yesterday about there's a certain way you bring people in? Ready? Campfire. There's a little flame, we're having a little campfire, and what you do around the campfire, everybody gathers in. So I never tell everybody to come over here. Have you guys ever seen it over here? You wonder why people come in slow. Everybody come over here. Like where's that? Where's that? Whatever you say, everybody on the deuce court service line. We just do a thing, we put the little orange cone in the middle and say campfire, and everybody gathers around the campfire to have a conference. So you want to be more specific again about what you're really getting. I told my son the other day to pick up his room, and he said, I can't, it's too heavy. But had I told him to hang his clothes up and put his shoes away, that's different. I can measure that. Okay, don't hit the ball so hard. As what? Move your feet more. Then what? Have a softer grip compared to what? Slow the ball down compared to what? If you can ask a question at the end of the statement, you didn't tell him anything. So you have to figure out, did I really say that? So next time when I had coaches last time, I said, go out and teach, but put a recorder in your pocket, and then when you get off the court, play the recorder back and see if you can understand what your directions. You'll be amazed at what you thought you said and how it came out when you play. So you can always self-test as you go through this. So guys, what did you like about the drill today?
hitting at a specific target?
Great, okay, so targeting is pretty important. So when I'm playing any ball sport, if I'm playing bocce ball or pool or ping pong or even darts, what do I have to have? A target. If I don't have a target, how can I score? You know, I got a bow and arrow set for Christmas. I went out and just shot arrows in the air. That was a lot of fun. No, I needed a target. So when you play again, tennis is a ball sport that requires targeting. As you improve your targeting skills, you improve your strategy skills, because now I can target the ball there to open up the court over here. So using my 4 squares, I can hit deep to square 3, short to square 1, and then loop the ball back to 3. So like in basketball, you run a 3-1-3, because square 1, 2, 3, 4. So I hit deep high balls to your backhand if you're a righty, short ball to your forehand when I get the appropriate shot. You say, what's an appropriate shot? We're going to work on that today too. Then if they get the short ball there, what do? You hit a loopy ball back to 3. So you're running a 3-1-3 pattern. In every sport, they call timeout and design a play. In tennis, they just hit balls. So the coaching should involve patterns, at least using the 4 squares. You can use more squares or more targets whatever you want as you get more sophisticated. What else is good about the drill?
I like how usually it's lateral movements. This was
Right. And most of your game is lateral movement, except when you're moving forward, right? So we worked on that part of the game where you're working on how to attack the ball or move forward into the shot. Well, when do you do that? Remember we said the 5 journalism questions? Who, what, where, when, and why. Who would use this drill? What is this drill? Where would it happen? When would it happen? And most importantly, why? So the 2 most important parts are who would use it and why. What we usually forget to tell somebody is when you would use it, or even why you would use it. So you have to understand that when you write a good story in journalism, you're going to answer those 5 questions when you write a story. So if you're telling a story to a student that you want them to have, okay, this is a great shot. I like how aggressive you played, Raleigh. It's really good. So who is it? He's a player that plays aggressive. What is it? Well, this is a chance to attack a short ball. When you attack it, where would you play it? And then if you think about it, you have to teach all 5 parts, or else they have the skill. They know what it's like. They know why you want it to work, but they don't know when to use it or where to hit it. So your job is to realize, are you really giving them the information they need in that situation? Tell me something else you liked about the drill.
You have to know where your teammate is.
Yeah, you had to be, it's awareness of space around you and moving with your teammate like that again. Was it a moving experience? Okay, so how many players we have? We had 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11 players, and nobody really stood still, did they? I didn't tell one person to move their feet. Didn't have to. I created the situation that they discovered how to do it themselves, so they feel really proud they discovered it by themselves. What's some other ways we could change this simple drill? Transition balls, yeah, using different color balls. The points would last a bit longer like that. What else?
Move farther back.
Exactly, change the depth. Once you get it, you can change the direction, the depth, the spin, and the speed. When you take for example, in the PTR test, when you teach the 5 tactical priorities, remember what they are? What's the first one? Everybody make a fist real quick. Make a fist. Put your thumb up. The most important part of your hand is your thumb. Get the ball in play. What's the next one? Direction. And it even points there. It shows you what to do. How many directions are there? 3. And what are they? Down the line, cross court, down the middle. So there's 3 directions already. So right away, they have 4 options right now. I got the ball in play and I have 3 directional options. What do I have next? Depth. And depth is under direction. What are my 3 depths? Short, medium, and deep. So my gosh, I have 3 directions. I have 3 depths. So what do you have? I've got 3, 6, I have 7 ways I can either teach a lesson or adjust my match play. Now, what's another option? Spin. How many spins are there? 3. Underspin, side spin, and top spin. So I've got 3, 6, 9, 10 ways I could teach a lesson or a shot or change what's happening in the match. And what's our last one, remember? Speed. How many speeds are there? 3. Level 1, 2, and 3. 3 is as hard as you can hit the ball without missing. Level 2, so you can rally the ball 10 or 20 balls in a row. And level 1 is the speed that sends lessons to me. If you hit level 1, you drive people crazy, right? So, but you can change every drill by changing the speed of the drill, the spin of the drill, the depth of the drill, the direction of the drill, and most importantly, get it back in play. So typically what we do with our players, so Raleigh's going to go out and play a match. He's going to play against Rollins College down there in Florida, and we write coach in the palm of his hand. He says, I can't coach you during the match as much as I can, but the coach says get the ball in play with the right direction, the right depth, right spin, and right speed. So Raleigh, you've got 13 ways out there you should be able to figure out how to beat this guy. Now, if he's better than you, that's fine. You start hitting level 1 shots. And he's going to hate you. If you play level 1 tennis, you're the person that nobody calls to practice because you ruin their game. If you're a junior player, parents will not let you play with your junior if they hit soft high balls because it ruins their game. I said, welcome to the world, because that level player is in every semifinals of every tournament, because only the top 2 or 3 guys in the tournament can handle somebody who hits soft, ugly balls. So you got to learn to be a pretty ugly player to beat somebody. You got to have an ugly shot and the pretty shot when it's appropriate. But if you start off hitting pretty, you let me hit pretty against you. And if I just have to be a prettier player than you are, I'm going to beat you. But if you have ugly in there, you can make me not be so pretty when you play. And so you do it because she smiled. You talk about things that make people smile and make it funny. All right, here's another fun drill we're going to do. We're going to use both courts again because I want everybody to stay active in the drill. Direction and depth again. You never just hit down the line. For example, let's see. Matilda, Olga, go to the baseline. Sorry, Olga, go to the baseline. I'm going to be the volleyer for this drill. If you guys will line up on the center service line, this side. Most coaches would say, everybody get over there or line up over there. Have you ever seen it over there? You simply tell them which line to go to so it creates the right spacing. So, Olga, you're going to do ground strokes back to me. And our goal is going to be, we're going to do a 10-ball rally, okay? Good shot. Okay, that's all right. Now, most of the players, especially we mentioned, what is the toughest level of club player to work with that John mentioned? A 3-5 lady. And the 3-0 lady. And the 2-5 lady. And the 4-0 lady. And the 4-5 lady. Okay, here's what typically happens. They come in and says, these people just lob all the time. What do I do? I said, it's your fault. Because deep balls cause rallies, short balls win points. For example, Olga, hit a ball back to me and lob me on the second ball. So 1 ball back to me. Okay, good, now lob me. See, that's why I never come to the net. Okay, do it one more time, Olga, back to me again. Why didn't you lob me?
I would, I just...
Yeah. So once again, short balls win points, deep balls cause rallies. When you watch the high-level players come, when Federer comes in at his second volley is never deep. His approach shot's deep. The second ball is something short and angled. If you hit the ball deep twice, you're going to get lobbed or passed. Promise you. Okay, so you have to be able to handle a short ball. So what you're doing this drill, you're going to get a teammate. You're hitting level 2 speed. So your goal is going to be 10 balls in a row. We're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. On the 10th ball, I hit a short ball into square 4. You're going to come up. I'm going to move backward to keep the same ball in play for another 10. So for the first 10, I'm working at keeping the ball deep so she can't hurt me. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Short ball, come on in. I go back. And then I set up and we work on 10 again. So it's called 10 up, 10 back. Now you can make it 5 up, 5 back, 6 up, 6 back, 200 back, 200 up, whatever you want to do. So get a partner and spread out. And you're going to play 10 up, 10 back across the court using half a court. Now, if the skill level is really high, I would use the alley, the center, and the alley. Because I have space here, I don't need that. I'm going to go alley here, alley over there, alley there, and alley over there, okay? So spread out. Great. Okay, now watch. Okay, now I have an odd number of players, right? So how do I change the drill? You're going to switch after every shot with Olga. Okay? So you're at the net, you're going to volley. Okay, got a partner?
Yeah, we recruited someone to get an even number.
Oh, no, I went odd numbers. I went odd numbers. Sorry. I like it because you don't always have a perfect number show up. Even if you have 4 people sign up for the clinic, not all of them show up. Can you handle an odd number? I'll put you back in a second. All right, so you're behind Olga. Buddy, you're over there. So this side's going to be at the net. Your goal again, what do you do when you teach a lesson? You demonstrate the drill first, which Olga and I just did. So the volleyers are up here, moving your feet. Okay, this side's on up to volley. 10 up, 10 back. Okay, controlling the speed of the ball. Go. Okay, hit 1 and rotate. Hit 1 and rotate. Now watch. When they rotate, what do? They turn and they walk back, and there's no energy. So how do I get them to move to a spot? I simply put a donut back there she has to go to, or I say, okay, now Olga, on your shot, after you guys hit, you have to touch the curtain. Make the shot, touch the curtain, make the shot. So I've simply created a safety zone so nobody gets hit and make her move really fast. So I wanted her to move more. How do I create? I don't tell them to move their feet more. You create a movement pattern where they have to move faster. All right, let's go. Okay, now what would make her ball go high? Her eyes. If her eye goes up when she hits a shot, because in Silicon Valley we invented the palm pilot. Well, the palm is your pilot when you hit. Wherever you point the palm of your hand, that's where the ball is going to go. But your eye controls your palm. So when the ball goes up, the symptom was, you opened your racket face. Yes, that's a symptom, but why? Because your eye looked up. I look up, palm goes up. So let your eye stay still. You know where she is, don't look at her. All right, here we go, don't look at her, you're looking at the ball. Got it. You're not playing the person, you're playing the ball. Nobody's going to come over on your side. It's how well you see the ball that tells you how much to move and when to swing. So when I see an error in swing patterns of a decent player, that's an eye error. There's nothing technically wrong with the shot, but the eye moves, it affects it. When I see a movement error, it's because their eye came up, so their feet stopped. I saw Burdich almost get hit by a ball at Wimbledon. He's playing a forehand. He almost runs over the ball. How can Burdich possibly miss-hit a ball like that? Because he wasn't looking. It surprised him where it was. So those are eye errors again. Where's your eyes? Where's your eyes? All right, everybody stop. Campfire. So guys, what was challenging about this drill? Yeah, it was in motion the whole time. You are going to fail. There's no way so you hit that many balls in a row without really making an error. I also see who responds to pressure. They miss the air like, oh God. No, man, I'm ready for the next ball again. You know, so I understand who has a chance to be mentally weak in competition because they don't deal with failing really well. They don't lose it real quick. The top level players make an error, it's over. You know, my son makes an error and he carries it for 3 days. Okay? So you ask, how'd you play? Well, I made this stupid error, man. And he said, I don't know, how did you play? I don't know, I made this stupid error. So there you remember. So you have to have Alzheimer's disease to get rid of your errors really quick. So the neat part about having that type of dementia like that is you have new friends every day and you forget all your errors really quickly. So it really helps you become a better player. What else was challenging about the drill?
We didn't have much margin for error.
Right, because it gave you a smaller target. When you play, you don't necessarily have a big margin for error. You have to be able to adapt and adjust your skill level. So the higher your skill level gets, what can you do? You control the direction and the depth of the ball better. When you want to control depth, what do you control? The spin and the speed. That's right. Now, part of that is height. That's right. So height is a key factor. Nick Saviano came to speak at the PTR conference. Nick says, okay, I've been working with Emily Bouchard and Sloane Stevens, and there's only 3 things you guys need to know. You have to have a target, you have to have a height, and you cannot move your eye. That's it. That's it. Because if you move your eye, you change your target. Okay, so what would make me move my eye? And we talked about that before. What makes me want to look up?
See where our shot's going.
And why would you look up to see where your shot's going to go?
Confidence.
Right, I don't have confidence in my shot. So when I have confidence in my shot, I don't look. Okay? In baseball, when a guy gets into a slump, they have, all of a sudden, all his friends are offering tips on how to get out of the slump. Turn your hip faster, loosen your grip on your top hand, squeeze the right one, put your tongue over on this part of your face and make an eye one shot. And then all they really had to do, the reason he can't hit is he can't see the ball. Because he's worried about, did I get a hit? Did I get a hit? Don't know, dude, look at the ball. In golf, they have spotters. When I hit a golf ball, I don't look. I have a spotter that tells me where the ball went. Now, I'm pretty good. I actually did a birdie one day off the driving range. I was hitting a driver. I killed a bird. He flew across, and I hit him in the head, killed him. So I made a birdie off the driving range. Okay. So, but whenever your eye comes up, you miss a shot. So when you play again, if you can teach your players to control your eyes. So Nick said, I didn't realize how important the eyes were. My brother's an optometrist, and he said, he started showing me that without your eyes, man, you can't play. So what makes someone be awkward on a shot is they didn't see the ball. And the question then is, okay, well, I know I need to keep my eyes still. How long do I need to keep it still till you finish your shot? So he said, what are you gonna do when your chin touches your shoulder, you can look. So he had a kid who's a pretty good college player out there, and he said, so which side do you like better? He said, well, I like my backhand best. So Nick fed him some balls. He says, okay, why is his backhand better than his forehand? His eyes. Because his eye would move on his forehand side, and on his backhand side, he actually would touch his chin before his eye moved. So if you, at your skill level, there's no reason you guys should miss balls unless you just get bored. Like the juggle drill, you guys did great with that. But if you miss, it's because your eye goes. And the reason my eye goes is I either don't trust my shot, or I'm afraid of you. Because you're the number one seed, you're very fast, you hit the ball hard, whatever reason it happens to be. So it's the fear factor on that side of the net. If I'm afraid of you, that means my mind's on your side of the court, which means I just lost my mind. And mind's a terrible thing to lose. When you can't find your mind, you're in trouble. So how do you keep your mind on your side? It could be through counting, looking for the spin, taking more steps. They all do kind of the same thing. But really, it's can you keep your eye still to either touch your chin to your shoulder, or you take one step before the eye moves. The reason, one of the many reasons Ferris is so quick is if I hit the ball and I move my eyes, what's my balance like? My balance is off. So I'm going to be slow moving the next ball. Federer hits the ball, takes one step, then his eye goes. So his first step is extremely quick because he's balanced as he makes the shot. So when you lose your eyes, you lose your balance. On a balance beam in gymnastics, you're on a 4-inch beam, you learn to spot on a wall. If your eye moves off that spot, you fall down. If you're doing diving and tumbling, your eyes move to make your body turn. So you cannot overemphasize how important it is. So when you see an error in here, usually look at the eyes first. Because the symptom that you're looking at is they didn't follow through. Right, because when my eye comes up, my hand's, oh, we're done. So my hands just stop. Okay? If you don't move well for the shot again, it's because I'm looking for the ball and I lose the ball. So I'm uncoordinated looking. So don't recognize the symptom as being caused by something else. And that's that's your challenge as a teaching pro, is identify the cause. When Dan and I were talking about the PTR test, when you have to do air detection, I find very few people who could actually pass the air detection test. But I give them credit because they recognized a symptom and fixed the symptom, but they didn't really fix the cause. We showed it the other night. I said, okay, so what's my error here? Okay. And he said, well, you didn't catch your rack, you didn't follow through. And I said, no, the ball was too late. I couldn't hit over the shot. So it's recognizing that the error comes one move before the symptom. So it's recognizing in your mind, like on video, like when Dave does all the video stuff, you recognize when the error occurred before the symptom showed up like that again. You go through it. So all the drills we're doing and all the drills you saw with Dan and all the drills you've seen with your coaches, if you do it by changing the direction, the depth, the spin and the speed, or the scoring, you have a different drill every time you play. So remember we did a attack and ghetto. We had 5 different versions of ghetto. How about a real quick one? We have, how much time do I have until today?
We have 15, half hour.
Half an hour? Awesome. Okay. For those of you who didn't get a chance to see some of the drills, we're going to run through the 5 versions of attack. Dan showed you one version earlier today, but we're going to play this one. So let's have 4 players on this end and 4 players back behind the baseline on that end. If you'll move the cones out of the way for safety, please, and pick up the dots. This is one of the things where typically what the coach does, he stands here and feeds balls. Which is okay, he can feed different kind of balls and mix it up, but it's better if the players feed the ball rather than you, because then you can coach. So what I would do in this case, instead of me feeding the ball, but that's how I make my money. I feed the balls, that's what I do, right? Yeah, no, you don't have to. Let them feed, your job's to coach. So in this game, the team that's coming up is going to feed the ball. You're going to control the depth of the feed and the spin of the feed and the speed of the feed. So you can hit the ball so it lands around their service line or just inside. You're going to feed the ball low so they have to attack. If you feed it high, they're going to attack you really badly. So feed a short ball, you guys are playing defense. You guys are on the offense. You're coming in. Players in the back are always live in every game we do. So nobody's ever sleeping. So if ball gets past them, the players in the back are live. They can help out. Okay, if you win the point, you come over. If you lose the point, you move to the back and switch. So ready? Here we go. Okay, now, why did she miss the shot? She was off balance. That was a symptom. Why was she off balance? Because she looked up, so it put her weight on her front foot. So that was an eye error that made it show up as a footwork error. Ready, go. Players in the back are live. Switch. Okay, now, you lost the point, so you're over. Herschel, got it. All right, now I need 2 more players in the back on that end. 2 more players over there, go. Okay, timeout. So good now. And because we're playing a game, I have tactical teaching situations like where should that ball have gone? To the middle. How could she possibly, with her skill level, hit this little white band right there? Because that's where her eyes went. She looked up. So at my club, I've never had to replace the net, but this friggin' thing here wears out all the time because when you look up, the first thing your eye sees is the white band, so that's where most of the balls go. So those are simply eye errors. All right, ready? Everybody's live again. Here we go. Great dipper. Awesome. Got help, got help. Players in the back are live. So remember, everybody's live back there. So we do this for a couple reasons. First of all, we want the players to feel comfortable attacking the game and realize they have help in the back in the situation. Now, tactics. Think about this. Would you rather attack with topspin or underspin in this game situation? Why? Keep the ball low. And they're not running for the ball. If I get a person in that corner by themselves playing single, I might attack with topspin. If the player's already in mid-court area, he's dominating the court, I'm going to attack with underspin. Okay, would you rather attack deep or short? You'd rather attack deep. Okay, I've got a guy sitting back here with ground strokes, and he loves to hit ground strokes, and I'm coming to that, and I really don't want to be there anyhow. Short ball. So the shorter you hit the ball down the middle with underspin, the greater the chance you win the point, because now they have to move up to try to pass you. So whenever I play, when I'm coming into my approach shots when I play, usually bounce somewhere right about in here with underspin. Because no one practices hitting passing shots moving up with some player coming in. If I hit the ball deep, I'm hitting back into their power zone. So once again, you can control by deep balls cause rallies, short balls win points. Not a lot of players use the short approach shot. Federer does it pretty good to come in behind the ball. All right, ready, guys? Play it out again. Underspin approach shot only. Go. Underspin only. So now by changing the type of spin, I'm changing the tactical skills. Got help, got help. Got it. Move in. Okay, switch. You're gone. Go. You're gone. You guys lost. No team over. So how could Matilda possibly miss that ball? I mean, she's a great player. First of all, she had no target. She had no target when she hit the ball, right? So guess what her eyes did? They tried to find a target. The good players understand where they are on the court and what depth they want to hit and what direction they want to hit. Then they choose the appropriate spin and speed. Got help, got help. All right, timeout. So you're at the net. Matilda's running the ball down. You think she's looking at you or the ball or what?
The ball.
Okay, so you have to tell her 2 up, okay. 1 up. When the player's really following the ball well, the other partner communicates 1 up, 2 up. They tell them what's happening on the court. Okay, this time you're going to feed the ball in a little higher. It's swing, volley, attack. So the options in this game are topspin attack, underspin attack, swing, volley attack, overhead off the bounce attack, and serve attack. So same game, but you change how the ball comes in, work on different shots. So you're going to feed a higher, deeper ball, swing, volley, attack. And where would you probably want to hit the swing volley? What's that? Where would you like to hit it?
In the middle.
In the middle. If I hit cross court, I open up angles against myself on the shot. I want to make the go through the middle. I want the other player to always create the angle for me. I don't want to create the angle for them on the first shot like that again. All right, ready? Topspin attack down the middle. Go. Awesome. Great. I like the idea. That was a good error. He was trying for the shorter volley that time, but his hands are too tight. All right, ready? Swing volley. Good get. Good get. Okay. Good play. Okay, timeout. Really good. What was the tactical error in the game? You had an overhead, Sydney had an overhead. What did she play the overhead? Deep. Why would you hit a deep overhead when you're at the net and you got 4 players back, or 2 players back, or 1 player back? When you're in close, if you're inside the service line, the angle is an overhead away because they're defending the court. Why would you get back into their defense to put them back into offensive position again? So I look at it, the games give me a chance to teach tactics, and then they may not have the skills to do it. That gives me a chance to teach a skill to improve the drill, and then it can do a game situation. Go again, ready? Swinging volley attack. Good play, good play. All right, this time, you're gonna lob the ball pretty high, let it bounce, hit an overhead off the bounce and come in. So this is gonna be overhead attack. Ready, guys? Yep. Let it bounce, overhead attack, ready? All right, good play. Little long, switch. So should the overhead be flat, top spin, or slice? Or spin, not slice. Slice refers to the depth of the ball. It's either a side spin ball, a top spin ball, or a flat ball. Not from there. I never hit a flat ball from back there. Net's too high, it won't clear the net, or it goes straight out. When you're further away and you've got an overhead on the bounce, it's always a spin ball. It can be top spin or side spin on the ball. But hitting flat from back there is like trying to hit a flat serve in, only the toss is at the wrong height. So you want to go for more of a top spin ball or a spin ball. I would probably hit a side spin ball with extreme side spin, so the ball curves on it. Top spin is going to set up. Probably wouldn't be quite a good shot either. But a side spin ball from back there where the ball's moving, if they look up, if their eye moves at me, they're going to get hit by the ball. So a heavy side spin ball would be a great tactical shot in that situation. Are you ready? Overhead off the bounce. Got it. Very good. And now they can move back because they realize they're playing defense, so they might back up to get more time, to give them more time to react to the ball. All right. Last one. Perfect. Now, how hard did he hit the ball? What was his speed, would you say? On a scale of 1 to, remember the 3 speeds? Level 1, level 2, and what speed did he choose to hit? 2, maybe 1 almost. Why would he do that? To give himself time to get in. He wants the guy to see him coming in. I'm giving you a no pace ball, which drives everybody crazy. This guy is going to try to pound the ball, I guarantee you. And this guy's coming in, so he's got a better ball to read. So he chose the right speed for the ball, for the tactical situation he was in. So every time I'm teaching any type of thing, I'm looking at who understands what they're doing. Okay, what are they trying to do? Where are they trying to hit it? When do they recognize it? And why did they choose that shot? And then I've got my 13 options of, do they get the ball in play with the right direction, the right depth, the right spin, the right speed? So everything you need to know is in your hand. What are the 5 tactical questions? What are the 5 journalism questions? And that should give you a lifetime of questions and lessons to teach when you play. All right, this time it's going to be serve attack. So you guys are going to serve and come in. So you're going to start both players on the baseline and you come in together. Now, with lower level players, anything on this side is good. Because if you wait for them to get a ball in the court, it could take a couple of days. And also, you say, well, how is that real? Well, if remember, we just did a drill a while ago, but they were hitting an overhead off the bounce, right? They're not going to have to get in the box. So they're doing a serve that would be simulating an overhead off the bounce. Anything on this side is good. Are you ready? And play it out. Watch their eyes, watch their eyes. Even their shot selection will be determined by where their eyes go. So if you become an eye coach, you're incredibly strong. You'll fix a lot of the technical errors that you think you see out there because they're actually eye errors. And you'll improve the tactical errors, but they're choosing their eyes to the wrong spot, which change the direction of the ball. Go again, add court. And they got to start back, Olga, and come in. The reason we're doing that, we want players to learn to move forward. And someday, by accident, they'll actually serve and volley. Oh gosh, I came to the net because the drill kind of let me start to feel comfortable. And one day I just came in by accident. It was pretty cool. Great. Okay, now hold a timeout. Really good. The speed of the ball was really good because of the height of the ball. Nobody tried to crush a level 3 shot because it was below net level. Level 2 kept it down. You created the angle. which was kind of risky, but that's okay because he got excited and looked up. Okay, he saw the net. I mean, what part of the net did he hit? The white band. Okay, that tells you that the eye came up because the first thing the eye sees when it comes up is the net. Now, does everybody make those errors? Indian Wells, Federer playing Djokovic. They're in a tiebreaker in the third set. And Federer gets 2 shots right about here against Federer. And neither ball makes it over the net in the tiebreaker. How can Fed possibly miss the ball from here? He was concerned about where Djokovic was moving, and it distracted his eye. So his eye moved counter to what he normally does, and he hit the top of the tape twice during the tiebreaker. It will happen to you no matter what your skill level. But the fact that you understand it, that it's not a forehand error. It was just your mind had gone to that side of the court before you finished making the shot. So that's just a mental toughness skill. All right? Awesome. See how they're playing the middle? That's so smart. The first instinct is to panic, like Dan said, and try to play a shot down the line on a ball like that again, instead of playing smart, or like Stan had mentioned too, about going down the line at the wrong time. Now, how can we change this drill? So first of all, we did attack. We did topspin attack, slice attack, swing volley attack, overhead attack, and now we just did serve attack. And you can change it all by changing, okay, underspin only. Okay, on the approach shot, you have to chip back. Okay, slice serve only, topspin only, flat serve only, one serve only. Divide the court. See, the ball has to land here. So at a higher level, you'd simply divide the court into 4 squares in the court. The ball has to land here to be a good serve. Your return has to land there to be a good serve. So you start making smaller spaces for higher level players. So based on, and then if they can't get it, that's okay. It's a real challenge for them. But in every ball sport, there has to be a target. And it's either the net, the fence, or the player, which are the 3 things you don't want to see when you hit a ball. The net, the player, or the fence, because that's where the ball's going to go. And you say, God, I keep hitting back to the player. Yeah, because you're looking there. And how many people think a tennis ball is round? How many think a soccer ball is round? It's not. Because you hit the bottom, the top, the outside. The only part of a tennis ball you never hit is the top. So at my club, all the tennis balls look pretty new on top. Because we never hit the top of the ball. You hit the outside of the ball, the back of the ball, the inside of the ball, the bottom of the ball. So it isn't really round, it has sides. So that was a trick question, sorry guys. But so when you play again, you focus on which part. If I'm a soccer kicker, those guys do those bicycle kicks over their head. Where's their eye? It's on the ball, not on the goal, because they can't make it. So anytime you hit a ball again, you need to feel what part of the ball do I need to hit, because that controls the direction. So you have different parts of the ball you're going to play. All right, last point on this one. Ready, go. Serve and go. Great job there. Keeping the ball in the middle. Good high ball. Good hands. I like that. Now, that was an example of eye-hand. He hit the ball. He caught it and his eye was right there. That was an example of eye-hand coordination. Oh, I missed it. My hand. How did I possibly miss that? I had no eye-hand coordination. So that was an awesome example of that. We'll catch that on tape someday, okay, with the eye-hand coordination. All right, everybody, come into a quick campfire. I don't have a campfire, so here's a campfire today. Come on in. So what did you guys like best about the attack games?
All the different progressions.
There's progressions. And I think somebody else talked about the other day. You talk about, we teach in progression, right, Dave? Everything's in progressions. So you do it in progression. How would you make this drill work for lower level players? Shorter court. Move into the service line, or my court at my club. We have the 36 courts marked off, the 36 foot. We have a line here, a line there. You have another line here, another line back there, 2 lines back here, because we have 6 courts marked off permanently on my teaching court. Because what it does, it creates 6 zones. There's zone 6, zone 5, zone 4, zone 3, zone 2, and zone 1. Now the PTA had a thing called zone system 5, but because of the way the courts are marked off for red ball tennis, there's actually 6 zones on the court. So it's convenient because it's already marked off. But you could take a whole lesson by taking zone 6. Who would hit it? Where would you hit it? When would you hit it? Why would you hit it? Okay, zone 6. Get it in play. What direction you're going to hit? Probably down the middle. Okay, where are you going to hit it? What depth you're going to hit? What spin? So those things from each of the different zones gives you another 6 options on top of the 10 options you have over here, plus the options inside. So you really just have a tremendous amount of lesson plans that you can build on simple stuff. Quick game of ghetto. Ghetto is called ghetto because you have to go get to the ball, right? For one of my students, one of my friends called me from Connecticut. He has an African-American general manager who is a little incensed by the name of the game. And he said, no, it's called go get to the ball. It's called ghetto, like that. So you have to recognize your situation as to what you're able to call things or even names you call people. So this one's called ghetto because you have to go get to the ball. So we're going to have 2 players, 1 player up on the service line, Olga. Okay, and let's go with Raleigh right behind him. They've already played the game real quick. Okay, you guys on the other end real quick. Yeah, okay, on the other end. Where is the other end? It could have been the other end of the earth. Okay, you guys, everybody line up behind Chad in the ad court alley, behind the alley. And you briefly describe the game. It goes like this. You do a walkthrough. So your job, Olga, is to cover the net and win the point. You can use the whole court. The players on that side can only hit to this half of the court. If the ball gets past her, Raleigh, you're live, you help out. If you lose the point or you lose the point, you're gone. If you win the point, you get a stay, but you trade. On that side, as soon as you run, the next player comes in, and you 2 are playing out the point against this player. You have to cover the whole court. Players in the back are live, so no vacationing back there. Shouldn't see rackets on the ground, rackets up here. If the ball gets past them, you're able to help out. We do that for a reason, so nobody's standing still. And they may never touch the ball, but they know that they have to be ready in case it does come back. So ready, guys? Here we go. Go get to it and play out the point. Awesome. Now, why did he miss? Eyes. How can someone like him miss a shot like that? Because he started hitting and he says, where's it going to go? So that's an eye error. All right, ready? Next player, go. Oh, yeah, we'll take that. That was in. Good shot. Go, Sydney. Great job. Now be ready, guys. In the back, you're helping. So right away, what do players normally do? Golfers watch tennis players play. So if you're watching a golf game, that's okay back there. But if you're a tennis player, you're ready to play. You're looking for another chance to hit a ball. Awesome. I like that. You change the spin, change the height of the ball, change the depth of the shot. And good job. Good play. Good job. Awesome. Awesome. So once again, short ball wins the point. It creates out of position situations. A deep ball would have caused a rally ball situation like that again. I did see one thing. When the ball went over Raleigh's head, what did Raleigh do? He gave Olga a butt shot. Because from here, if Olga says, hey, I'm taking him out, he's got a clear shot right there. What would he do in a real doubles match? He'd move back to create space. He has to give his partner room to create space, and also in case they come in to attack him. So you have a teaching situation again when someone plays a game like this, but you see lots of opportunities to teach tactical situations. Good play, got it. Matt was on vacation back there. You ready? Got help. Oh yeah, you're gone, Olga. All right, ready? Matt's up. Ventura, go. You're the backup, man. Eyes came up. That was an eye error, right? So did I say, no, you got to swing forward through the ball. You got to move your feet more. You can if you can't see the ball. So your eyes tell you what to do. Last one. Okay, now, great job. You hit a short, low ball. What's his options?
Hit it up to me.
Right, so you got to move up in here. Because there's no way he can lob you from that point. So when the ball's short, you actually get closer. The mistake you see even the pros make is they hit a drop shot and they stand right here. Where's the guy going to get the drop shot? Where's he going to hit it? It's going to be short angle. It's all he can do. So when you hit a drop shot and it's low, you got to move in because you have to cut off the options. A guy hits a drop shot, should win the point, but most players stay right here. They don't close in past the shot. Teaching opportunity. Now, here's the 5 variations of ghetto. All right, this time, running forehand down the line. Ready? We're going to play 2 points of this one. Ready? Go. Eye error, looked up. If you watch their eye, you'll see why the racket does what it does. Okay. All right, now the next version, everybody in the deuce court behind the service line, behind the baseline, in the alley, running backhand cross court. What was it Dave said was the weakest shot in American tennis? The backhand, especially backhand on the run. This drill works exactly on that. Here's the rule on this one. You have to stay on this service line until he starts to swing. Because what happens at this level, they'll just close in on top of the net, win the point. But if he stays back, it creates a different tactical situation. So now, what's your best option on this shot? Are you going to rip it or dip it? Got it. Good play. Good job. She did both shots really well. She had 2 dippers. The dipper was really good. He was set to cover the ripper. But she didn't rip it. Because if she ripped it, it would have stayed up here. She dipped it and made the ball get past him again. So great tactical shot selection on that. Really good. Eyes came up. Her eyes came up really early because you know why? Here was her footwork. Had she seen the ball, she's very athletic. She would have gotten there on balance. She was off balance before she ever got to the ball, which means her eyes have already gone. All right, one more time. Okay, did a good job. He faked me out. He tried to keep his eyes still, but he still looked up before he hit it. All right, now, this one, backhand down the line. So the running backhand down the line, the second hardest shot to hit in tennis. Just long. Switch, next player up, go. I'm watching shot selection here a lot. Good dipper. Okay. How do you know when a person has to hit a neutralizing ball? When Eileen and bend over show up. Whenever Eileen or bend over shows up on that side, they have to hit a neutralizing ball. So the 2 people you don't want to see on your side of the court is Eileen and bend over. Because whenever Eileen and bend over shows up, you're hitting up to the ball. So your goal when you hit was great. You hit a short angle ball, which made Eileen show up for Jessica. All right. And you got to remember, there's Eileen, and how many brothers does she have? 12. She has Ben Lobbin. I've been lobbing too much. Ben Stiller. I've been stiller than I should have been. Ben Servant longer than I should have been. You know, so there's Eileen and her 12 brothers. So you can make up as many brothers as you want in that game. Down the line. Oh yeah, good try. That's called Rocky Top. Bounced on top of the mountain. Okay, so they've done running forehand cross court, running forehand down the line, running backhand cross court, running backhand down the line. Start in the middle this time. One line in the middle. I can feed the ball either direction. The player behind has to take off. So when you run for the shot, your partner's got to go the opposite direction. Ready? Here we go. What was he? Good job. Was he watching my eyes or my racket? My eyes. Because I looked over there and he thought I was going that direction. But I faked him out because I used my... He doesn't care where my eyes go. He wants to look at my racket. He has to read the racket face. Good eyes. Great neutralizing ball. Great neutralizing shot. Really good. Ready, go. Next player in to help him. Good. Better back up. Better back up. You're coming in. You're going to die. Got it? Okay. Got help. Got help. Good play. Way to go. All right, ready? One more point. That's right. Good neutralizing ball. Kept the ball in the middle. Created the angle. Really good. He got the ball. He didn't give the angle first. Everybody said, well, you hit angles for winners. No, you don't. You hit the middle first. He moved the player into the middle, which gave him the angle on the next ball. And most players try to hit the angle without realizing it's the middle ball that sets up the angle ball. The first one that hits the angle, better make sure they win the point, or else you're going to get the angle back. Why do you think the Australians are so good? Why do you think the Aussies are so good these days? Do you remember? They have good eyes. Good eyes to you, mate. Good eyes to you too, mate. They have good eyes like that. Now, how do you choose your shots? It's based on your DNA. You're either playing defense, neutralizing, or attacking. So when you hit a shot, tell me if you're going to play defense, neutralize, or attack. In real tennis, 10% of the shots are defense, 70% are neutralizing balls, and 20% are attacking shots. So Nadal wins. Does he attack? He simply out-neutralizes you. Okay? Berdych is more likely to be a little more attacking in the points. So based on your personality, the kind of racket you use, how often you get strung, the kind of car you drive, tells me how you're going to play as a player. If you're going to neutralize a lot, or are you a real aggressive player? You know, if you wear polyester pants and drive a 65 Volkswagen, you're probably pretty conservative. You're not going to serve volley very often. Okay? You have a sports car and you wear the highest top shoes, new shoes, $180 pair of shoes, like, you're going to probably be a little more aggressive. So I kind of have clues as to how you're going to probably play a little bit as you go along, just by how you come out. All right, last point. In the middle, DNA. Good. Now, if you make them call out the shot, actually it disconnects them. But it's done just for teaching purposes, everybody. All right, everybody, real quick. Picking up balls is a waste of time unless you do what? Split and pick up. Each ball, you have to split for each ball. A personal trainer will charge you $80 an hour. For tennis, we do it for free. We don't charge you for the squats and the splits. But it's a waste of time picking up balls. This is done in some way that enhances your tennis game. So you can have them pick up one ball at a time, 4 balls at a time. Little kids have a hard skill. They try to pick up a ball, their hand turns over. So we can kind of tell a little bit about coordination skills there too as you go through. All right, big hand for all my players today. Really good job. We're done for the day. I want to thank you guys for participating and answering questions. If you email me, my email is on my business card, which you all should have. It's on the back of all these things. Each of you will get one of these, which is called Today. And it's kind of like a little fun thing to kind of live your life by. So if you'll pass these out. Also 101 tennis tips. There's 101 tennis tips here. You can pass these out. If there's not enough, I'm sure they'll run off copies for you. Ferris State will have a copy of all this. This is the paperwork here is all theirs. They'll run off copies for you. You'll have access to all the information that we did today on that. The DVDs are available in there. You can check those out for those kind of things. The last thing he's going to look at is called pocket radar. This is a little radar gun. And it's the size of a cell phone. You just point it up like that, push the button, and it tells you how fast somebody's running or hitting, and they're playing. It's called pocket radar. And I've got a few handout things from them just for information so the coaches can. They'll probably donate one to the college just to have them go through it. Okay. All right. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate it a lot. Thanks.